I'm a gap year counselor based in Boulder, Colorado. I'm coming up on my 10th year this January. And I have been with the Gap Year Association, for about 10 years as well. I know that you've had the chance to hear a number of other gap year advisors tonight, but I just wanted to distinguish myself a little bit from the others that spoke before tonight. I am a lifelong gapper. I took a gap year way, way back in the medieval ages in 1974. I chose to go to the University of Grenoble to learn French, and I will admit, ski because I come from Colorado. And then after college, I joined the Peace Corps and served for 3 years in Senegal, West Africa, which is French speaking. So I actually use that language. Then throughout my adult life, I realized Spanish was much more practical. So I put myself in 2 Spanish language immersion programs in Cuenca, Ecuador, and Antigua, Guatemala. And then over the course of my later years, after I had 4 children, I have traveled and volunteered in Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, and then more recently as an adult in Nepal and Peru. So I can speak personally as a gapper. I also, prior to being a gap year advisor, I worked in the field of social work for about 30 years. And so I have experience working with families, women, and children, which is often useful when a third party or facilitator is needed to kind of break the tension between a child and their parent. I also am the parent of 4 gap year children. I had 2 daughters who chose to take a gap year after their college years. One worked as an intern for a lawyer in DC and then over in South Africa in Cape Town. My other daughter volunteered as a preschool assistant in Khayelitsha, a township outside of Cape Town, and then traveled on her own. My youngest son was quite young and needed to really mature. So he chose to work 3 different jobs in Moab, Utah, teaching snowboarding here in Colorado, and then working in a restaurant. And then my other son looked at all of them and said, I'm just going to go straight through, but he did do a study abroad program and then worked as a fellow after college. So I bring a parental perspective, which I think is really important when you put that child on a plane headed off to the wilderness for 60 days with no contact. Also, I was accredited in 2018 by the Gap Year Association, which means I've been through a rigorous evaluation process. I've also served on the board for the past 2 years. I'm just rotating off, and I've served on 4 different committees. I've also had the pleasure of speaking at a variety of USA Gap Year fairs. There are 40 around the USA, unfortunately not this year. And mostly I've been speaking in high school and colleges in the West. And then the best part of my program is being able to do site visits with various GAP programs around the world. So if you missed Tuesday night's overview with Ethan Knight, I'm just going to go quickly over some basics. What is a gap year? A gap year is an intentional period of time that can vary from 4 weeks up to 2 years, where a student really stretches themselves outside their comfort zones and develops some practical, personal, and professional skills. And it normally includes a time of reflection, and that can be journaling, it can be drawing, it can be sketching, but it is an important time where people can really take some time out to reflect. 90% of gappers go on to college, and there have been a recent study by Bob Claggett that showed that gappers tend to have a higher GPA throughout college and graduate in 4 years instead of the national average, which is 6. Why take a gap year? That is a really good question. It's fundamental to kind of establishing your goals for a gap year. The 4 most popular reasons are academic burnout, lack of focus or purpose. People don't know what they want to study in college, a need for hands-on learning, more experiential, and maybe an extra year to mature and grow. A gap year really allows a student kind of to develop intrapersonal skills such as self-confidence, resilience, flexibility, and perspective, as well as gaining some interpersonal skills that you gain in a team or group setting, such as initiative, leadership, empathy, team building. And it also is an opportunity for students to develop practical skills such as laundry or cooking or problem solving or budgeting and basic decision making. There are a huge number of benefits of a gap year, but due to time, I'm just going to run through a few of them. Recharging after burnout, redirecting your focus for college, dipping your toe in some career options, exploring and delving into perhaps a hobby or a special interest or a passion, reconnecting with exploration and travel, volunteering by giving back to a community over a longer period of time, longer than 3 months, and really feeling like you're making a difference. Enjoying independence away from obligation and commitments. God knows all the way through high school, kids are really overcommitted. Developing moral leadership, having a sense of decency, knowing what the difference is between right and wrong, and the ability to collaborate, gaining empathy, also to learn a new language, and also to make lifelong friendships. So, in terms of different types of GAP programs, there are structured to independent that range from 4 weeks to a full year. They can be domestic all the way to international in a variety of different settings, which you'll hear about later tonight: rural, urban, jungle, desert, mountains, ocean. And in terms of types, they range from volunteer and community service to wilderness adventure, language immersion, environmental conservation, travel, doing a post grad year, and then miscellaneous. It was a terrific year to do political campaigning in the 2020 election, or learning an instrument, or getting involved in film or dance or fashion or cooking or climate change. So there's a lots of different reasons. In terms of costs, they're a wide range, from paid room and board, where you earn a stipend like AmeriCorps or City Year, to paying only for your travel and earning your keep for room and board by volunteering, or week to week program fees like language programs or UK programs. 60 to 90-day programs that are a
Sorry.
semester long generally run around 11 to 18,500. And then 7 to 9 month global programs with multi global destinations run about 30 to 55,000.